This is the...
Hey! That joke's as cold as you're about to be.
May the 4th be with you. And it's finally time to give this guy a proper review. Hope you enjoyed the April Fools. But this is a Transformers Star Wars crossover Mandalorian N1 Starfighter. Because yeah, Star Wars crossovers are a thing. And they were a very bad thing for quite a while. Like, most of the early stuff, it's pretty bad. Like, quality and all that. There was a fairly recent Han Solo and Chewbacca that combined into the Millennium Falcon, but I never picked it up. I picked this guy up because he's the Mandalorian. Or he's trying to be the Mandalorian. Let's take a look at the box. I like the box. It's normally a vertical rectangle, so having a horizontal rectangle is rare. And the curves with a picture of him. Yeah. Mandalorian and one Starfighter. And some vaguely futuristic looking panels and whatnot. On all the sides. And the back you got stuff. You have even a little bit of detail on the inner sleeve, which I'm not sure what it is, but it's something. And this figure very much has the vibe of, oh, that'll do. Like, it almost looks like the Mandalorian, Din Djarin. Like, the helmet, it's close enough, I guess. It's not as metallic and shiny as it should be, but the lines are there. The face and, like, the cheekbones are there. Although it has too many lines, because those ones on the forehead aren't on his suit. And there's some coloration that reminds me, like the brown on his thighs and his gloves, with like the Triforce of plot armor. But other than that, he does the same thing my stepbrother used to do when anyone asked him a question. Shrug all the time. Like, I understand the arms have to be where they are to do the things they do, like to be as sleek as they are in the N1, the jet mode, but they don't look good in robot mode. Like, the massive spires are a bit too much, and like his arms are a bit too short. He does have some kibble. These rings are just sitting here. And honestly, what are those? These don't look like feet. They look like, well, a piece of the jet mode that had nowhere else to go, so they just shoved it there and said, yep, those are feet. This sure is a robot mode, I guess. Like, I don't know if this is a documented feature, but you can take this little piece off if if you want a more exposed look. Articulation. Head is on a ball joint. You can waggle around and say this is the way. and, be very cool as the Mandalorian is. Shoulders can go out that far before bumping into his head. They can go forwards until they collide with this piece, which... Why is it there? I prefer it here. Like, the instructions tell you just leave it like that, but come on. That gets in the way of articulation. Because you need that full 360 degree swing, right? The elbow does have some gearing detail on it, but it also has 90 degrees of bend and a bicep swivel. So the joints are good, they feel good. The wrist is on a ball joint, but you really only get a swivel with it because it's locked in place with the panel. His waist is a bit too loose, and there are 2 screws in his ass. Supposedly I could probably do something to fix it, I'm not sure, but it's been this way since out of the package. It's not quite like Masterpiece Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron levels of bad, but it just spins a little bit more freely than I would prefer. The hips are good and solid in both directions. This very obvious gun holster doesn't even get in the way. That's some good engineering. And the thigh swivel breaks the sculpt, which I'm not a fan of. The knee is double jointed for transformation, but like the one that generally goes first is not the one you want to use. At least I think. You probably want to use the top joint, but his thighs are so small and his boots are so massive. You do want, I guess, to use both of them to actually make it look like his knee is bending. And the ankle is on a tilt with that much range. And a pointing toe joint all the way in the back of his heel. So overall articulation's pretty good. Like, there's nothing that's terrible, but it's just kind of okay. I don't know what I was expecting, if I was expecting it to be mind-blowing, but he's okay to pose as a robot. Or I guess a mech suit version of himself. Here. I'll grab a size comparison. I don't have any other Star Wars crossovers, but here he is with the Black Series General Grievous. No, Grievous, it's not your turn. Don't make me come over there. Anyway, we got a bantha load of accessories. So first off is this piece of translucent plastic, which might be hard to tell, but there are tiny cracks on here, and here, because it tabs into this stand piece. And then you have a pair of these effect parts and these 3 differently sized effect parts. No, you have 4 effect parts because you have 2 of the same size and then the small and the biggie. Biggie smalls. And of course you have his main sidearm, his frankly pathetically tiny pistol. Like, there is some molding to, I guess, try and make it look like his pistol from the show, but it's just way too small. Like, it doesn't work at all. I like that you can plug it into the hip as a dedicated, like, holster, but for showing things in the vehicle mode, we'll put it off to the side. You also have... Excuse me, I think my voice is disappearing. Like Boba Fett did in his own show. But you have this massive base which has his logo on it. Mind you, the toy doesn't have his logo on it anywhere, which he branded onto himself at one point, and Grogu. So, yeah, I don't know about that. And then you have what is basically the rest of his jet mode, because parts forming. This piece has nothing to do with the robot mode. Nothing whatsoever. You could plug it here and have it do nothing. But the rest of this parts forming transforms into a gun. So he actually gets a decent sized rifle. And you know, as a one-handed rifle, it looks pretty good. I know he used a rifle, not quite Boba's carbine, but he did use a rifle. And you know, it's nice that he actually gets a decent sized weapon. And you can go even further by combining most of his accessories. And by combining, I mean sticking them on him. So this plugs into his back to form a cape, which is cool, but I can't say I remember an episode where he wore a cape. I don't know where it came from. Then you can take this and use it as a massive shield, and the cape's falling off. Plug the cape back in. Adjust the shield so the logo's right up. And you could plug the tiny gun in his hand, I guess, if you want to give him two guns. Which I probably should put that in his hand first. There we go. But now he's ready to fight Moff Gideon, I guess? Or anybody who wants to get in his way. I want to say the Captain America shield, but like Thor cape, and then just two guns. So maybe he'll take on the Avengers in a really terrible crossover. But that's. I think you can plug the blast effect parts into the big gun. Yep, or the little one. And oh, they're falling off. Alright. So let's put them to the side. The robot mode, honestly, it's not my favorite. Like, it doesn't really look like the character. It poses okay, but like, it does nothing much to make me want to play with it. Oh, you can plug the blast effect parts on his back to give him a representation of his jetpack. See, look, he's flying now. Yep, he's totally flying now. But let's transform this guy and we'll see how his jet mode turned out. Starting with folding in the wrists. Can be a bit awkward. There we go. You want to fold the foot and all the way out. Fold it up. We can rotate the waist, but just make sure the feet I'm going to come to the backpack. Let's open it up and open up the chest panel. I'm doing a lot of things, but probably none of them in the right order. But you want to fold it so it rotates around and then hinges up, and then the whole thing will come out. But let's rotate his leg and then fold the foot back into it like that, and then rotate the foot so it's facing out like that. Do the same thing. You could keep the pistol in the holster and it will not impede, which is nice. But do the same thing on the other side until it's tabbed together. And then the chest will plug in right there and also right there. Now you have room to fold his head away. Next up, we're going to come to the shoulders and fold them down on their struts. Rotate it around. Take this back piece, rotate it around, and it is going to lock in to the arm like that and tab in. We'll close it in a second. Just do the same thing on the other side. Rotate, swivel here, make sure it locks in, and then close that. And to finish it off, we're going to bring back in this piece, tab it right there, and the gun will transform back and finish off the N1 Starfighter mode. And okay, that is quite the transformation. Like, it did take me like at least 2 tries to figure out where everything goes, because the chest piece didn't make sense to me off the top. I was like, how does that go there, and how does that stay tabbed in? But I think it leaves you with a beautiful jet mode. So this is an N1 Starfighter. It is not the vehicle he starts the show with. He starts it with a gunship. But that does eventually get wrecked, spoilers. And he does come into possession of an N1 Starfighter. Which, the gunship made sense. Bounty hunter. It's a mobile home, basically in space. Enough room for you, any passengers you need to take in hot. But this does not afford him the same luxuries. It's a very small cockpit there with a second one. And that second one, while it does open, prefer you stay tabbed in, and has a port, brings me my biggest question about this figure. Where's Grogu? Why didn't you put a Grogu in there? A Baby Yoda? Like, you missed an opportunity. It didn't even have to transform. We just want a Baby Yoda Grogu to go in that bubble. Like, why? But this vehicle mode, it does it for me. It does quite look like just a miniature scale replica of an N1 starfighter. You can't really tell that there's a robot there unless you look for it and you saw the things. Like, I think it does a good job of hiding away. Sure, the thruster, its feet, and yeah, that's the one thing that might stand out a little bit. And most of it is, unfortunately, parts forming, but I think it works. I really like it. Shame there are no wheels or anything. There's a port on the bottom and like fake wheels, but it even has a little bit of a mouth. That's cute. So what can we do? We can plug the gun in one of the ports like that, which is totally worth it. And then we can Frankenstein together these pieces. So this goes around this, which is what has caused this to break. 'Cause it tabs in there and sort of clamshells around. And that's quite a bit of pressure on those tabs and ports, because the tabs are breaking as well. And then you plug it in, and you have a stand. I wish it wasn't made out of clear plastic. But you can plug your ship in like that. And that's a good display. You can also plug in all the effect parts. So depending on what you want, you can plug them into the guns for when he's chasing the remnants of Imperials or running away, which you would plug them here if you're running away from the New Republic. You could even plug one, tiny one, onto the blaster. And there's not much else to do with it. I know these can, these ones can also slide onto the little pillars here. I don't know what they actually function as, but you can do that. And then plug the effect parts back in. And there you have everything attached in vehicle mode. So, yeah. This vehicle mode, I like it a lot. Let's get it on its base. See if it'll stand up. I might have to rotate the base to get a good angle. It's also on a hinge at the bottom, which is like quite tight to move, and also doesn't seem like it would provide any purpose. So, yeah. That is a nice display piece. It actually does... Can't see, but it's right there. It stands perfectly fine. So, vehicle mode, top marks. Robot mode, meh. General Grievous standing on top of it. Let's see. Probably not. Can I do it? Can he do it? He's standing on top of it. Yay! Okay, that's enough. So, how do we feel about the crossovers? Should they make a Boba Fett that turns into his
Fast spray gunshot?
Or, turns into a Bantha? Maybe? I don't know where else they'll go with crossovers. We haven't gotten the Universal Monsters in quite a while. Oh god, there's that Sonic crossover where Sonic and Tails turn into Sonic's car and Tails' biplane respectively. And respectfully, maybe. Who knows? There's that weird Naruto crossover where Naruto turns into the nine-tailed fox. I don't know how I feel about that. But Star Wars crossovers... this one might be the best of them. That crossovers Magna Guard was pretty good back in the day, but this... He is a Walmart exclusive, so you can probably still find him in your local Walmart. I don't know if I recommend paying full price for him, because he is basically leader price point for what I think is at best like a Voyager size toy. So maybe he might not be worth full price. But I think he doesn't quite live up to the show he's from. At least the first 2 seasons. I didn't hate Book of Boba Fett. I didn't hate Season 3. They were okay. Book of Boba Fett provided a lot of memes. But I don't remember much of Season 3 other than like that one guy doing a sweet dodge roll to get in place to shoot somebody and the internet hating that. Like, that's about all I remember from Season 3. Oh no, I suddenly remember more. Yeah, they went to Mandalore and tried to save the planet to fix his reputation. Have him rejoin the clan. There was stuff with Ahsoka Tano. Him fighting over the Darksaber. No, I think him fighting over the Darksaber was Season 1. I'm getting the seasons mixed up in my head. It's been a while since I watched them. I do love Transformers. And I do love Star Wars. So we'll see where in the galaxy we go next. But until such time, may the Force be with you. And keep it weird. Bye.